Hi, I'm Harsha from Hong Kong, and I am delighted to be here. I work with Jivana as an accessible yoga trainer in this part of the world. I run a charity called Yama Foundation, and it provides equitable access to yoga, art, and meditation to Hong Kong's most vulnerable communities. We work with people who have disabilities and special needs. We work with people who sleep on the streets. We have a couple of programs in our prisons here. We work with residents in care homes and also focus on teens suffering from mental health challenges. I also work as a director of a school of yoga teacher training, and the focus there is to train more teachers to be empowered and inclusive yoga teachers with this work. So Jivana asked me to share with you my work with working with children who have disabilities and special needs. This has been my niche or my main focus for the last 10 years. And I have some 5 tips that I think will be really, really useful if you decide to embark on working with children with disabilities and special needs, but it also translates over into all people because adults are just grown-up kids. So the first tip is to never underestimate the intelligence of a child with special needs or disabilities. Whether a child is verbal or nonverbal, whether they are in a wheelchair, running around the room like a bullet, or engrossed in an iPad, children can hear and understand everything that you say. So when you are in the presence of a child or you're meeting a child for the first time, always speak in positives and share what you notice about the child. Wow, your child seems really strong. Wow, your child seems really smart. A parent will want to share with you details of a child's diagnosis or their special need. And if at all possible, try not to have this conversation in front of the child. I've witnessed so many kids hear their parents talk about this and burst out crying, mainly because they feel like they're a burden on the mom. And it's not the parents' fault, it's just what they're used to given their medical needs or educational needs as they go about their lives. The second tip is to respect a child's boundaries. All kids have boundaries regardless of their ability. Just like a baby won't go to a stranger, the same thing, you are a stranger in the child's eyes. And it usually takes about 7 classes for them to get to know you. And in that time, they're checking you out, you're checking them out. And here are some tips to make that more successful. By respecting their boundaries, you are giving them choices. Don't expect them to practice right in the beginning, but you can talk to them. Talk to maybe what their experiences might be like. Your mom asked you to come here because she thought yoga would be a good idea. And I know that sometimes you get mad and everything around your world seems so stressful. Hey, believe me, I understand that. I get stressed out too. And so what I like to try is some breathing exercises. So I'm going to show them to you and you can choose whether you'd like to try it or not. And in the first few classes, they'll probably just be watching you do it yourself. But then you can ask them to try it when they go home and then come back next week and see how it was. By giving them no pressure the first few classes, they'll start to feel comfortable with you, like they can trust you. The third tip is to meet a child at their level. So I'm sure throughout this course, you have learned many, many ways to make poses accessible. This means taking your mind away from how a pose is supposed to look and instead look at the experience. What experience does a pose like this bring to a child? And then you can adapt and accommodate at the level of the child. A child that has quadriplegia versus a child that has ADHD, those are 2 different ball games. A child who is confined to a wheelchair might need 20 minutes just to be able to unwind their body in order to be able to move it. Whereas a child with ADHD might be finished their entire asanas in 5 minutes. You need to be able to be prepared to accommodate all of that. The fourth tip is to plant seeds which means the yoga teachings, the yoga philosophy, plant those seeds in every single class. I once taught a boy who was on the autism spectrum, and he was very agitated in the class, and he would jump and scream and bang the walls. And I leveled with him and I said, I can see that you're really uncomfortable doing what I'm asking you to do, but you have a responsibility to make sure that your classmates can practice without being disturbed. So I'm fine for you to just watch. I'm fine for you to sit in the corner and watch, and you can jump up and down if you need to, but please keep quiet so that your other friends can practice. And this child stood in the corner and jumped up and down the entire class as I taught it. And the seeds I was planting were along the lines of, when you feel overwhelmed, you can try this at home and it's going to make you calm. One day I get a call from his mom, and his mom is just beaming on the phone. Thank you so much for teaching yoga to my child. You know, I walked past his room when he was agitated. He went into his room and he was practicing yoga. You've worked miracles with him. And I didn't have the heart to tell the mom that the child did nothing in my class. So everything you teach in the class, the child is paying attention to. So plant seeds, plant the teachings, and they will take that home. And the final tip is, no matter who you're teaching, always speak in positives. Never call out a student to shame them, because that's how they receive it, as shame, unless it's for praise. But then again, you have to be aware who's in the class and offer praise to everyone. You can't just single one person out. Another thing is, never use the word don't. Don't touch that button. All the child will hear is, touch that button. The don't becomes irrelevant. So switch your languaging around. Instead of saying, don't make noise, say, you have a responsibility to be quiet so other people can practice. Tell them, I like it when I see all this effort. Always give them positive reinforcement. I can see that you are trying really, really hard, and I appreciate that. It'll keep them motivated and encouraged to do more. And when you follow these tips, these kids will treat you as one of their most trusted and respected friends, and that's where the beauty of yoga and the magic of yoga happens. So thank you for this time. Thank you for this sharing, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the training. All the best. Bye.